Music, please. Time. Good afternoon, judges. My name is Miguel, and I'm very honored to be here. And at the same time, excited to share with you my passion and expertise in what I do. Judges, let me start this by sharing with you my journey as a barista champion candidate, which led me to meet different coffee buyers, coffee masters, and coffee roasters. Now, we do all share that same passion for the love of coffee. However, I realized that we also have differences in terms of levels of skills and expertise in producing a wonderful cup of coffee. Now, upon realizing this, it triggered my hunger to learn more on how I could elevate my personal techniques and knowledge where I could produce an amazing cup of coffee that I can call my own. So, judges, the coffee that I will serve for you this afternoon has actually been part of our history. It's a blend of Latin American and Asia Pacific beans, and it has always been the heart of our espresso beverages. And this coffee was roasted longer by our dedicated master roasters to produce a rich and flavorful dark roast coffee. And you know, it's amazing how this coffee still has those exceptional flavors since the day that it was created, way back in 1975 until today. I'm guessing you already know the coffee major. What we're having is our very own and our beloved espresso roast. You see, that same boldness and caramelized sweet finish has been the foundation of every espresso drinks that we have ever made. It balances exquisitely with milks in lattes, cappuccinos, or flat whites. It stands boldly on its own just as a doppio, or even we just added water in an Americano. You see, espresso roast just never fails to deliver, when brewed most especially using espresso machines, which is the most ideal way of extracting its flavor characteristics. The judges, please turn your flip charts to the first page as it will guide you through this coffee tasting. Now what we have here is a pour over cone brewing equipment. This is a brewing method where the hot water will dissolve the solubles in the bean cells and then it will combine with water. This is known as diffusion. Now in addition, a term called osmosis also occurs because the cell wall structures of our coffee are semi-permeable membranes. So the osmosis pressure drives the brew out of the highly concentrated chambers of our coffee to the more watery surrounding environment. Now judges, going back to the story of my journey, I actually have been to different coffee houses and I met many different people who finds our espresso roast unlikely to be brewed using a paper filter or this brewing equipment. They would normally say that it's too bold or generally a smoky cup of coffee. And so I tried it myself using the most common or standard proportions, and I tasted more of its smoky characteristics rather than the hints of caramelized flavors that I am accustomed to. You may turn the flip charts to page 2 for your reference. And so judges, I researched and upon researching, I was made to believe that dark roasted coffees are not quite ideal to be brewed using a paper filter because the longer the beans are roasted, the more the natural sugars are lost. Oils are coming out and the sugar caramelizes. The initial flavors of the green beans is gone. Now for this reason, the flavors of dark roasted coffees was already minimized, while the use of paper filters traps some of its flavors as well. Because the paper filters much of the fines and oils, along with the coffee's remaining flavors. But judges, let me tell you that today, I will execute a personalized technique of brewing espresso roast to bring out its best potential and flavors, even when brewed using this paper filter or this brewing equipment. You see, I just would like to share with everyone that every coffee has an equal potential to be brewed to the peak of its flavors, no matter what the conditions are. For the barista's expertise can really make a difference. So please excuse me and I will now grind my beans so we can get started. Judges, I'm back. Now, judges, please turn your flip charts to the third page. Now, judges, let me paint for you the art of espresso roast. So, through various experiments, trials, and errors, finally I was able to come up of a recipe of my own. So, I'm using a 1:17 coffee to water ratio, which is 15 grams of coffee, slightly ground coarser, using the number 6 grind setting just to give us appropriate flavors in our cup. Next, I will brew this coffee by using 255 grams of hot water. And this will be more than enough to extract the right amount of total dissolved solids or brew strength, which can lead to a specific body, flavors that I would like you to experience. And also, I will have one pause just to make sure or to prevent the coffee grounds from leveling too high, because I would like the coffee grounds to stay low and leveled just to make sure that I will be extracting all of those coffee grounds evenly. Lastly, I will maintain this slow and consistent water flow rate in a counterclockwise manner. Now, the reasons why I'm doing this is I want to achieve uniformity of the coffee's extraction. Now, this will help me achieve the flavors that I would like you to experience when you have your cups ready. Now, judges, while we're waiting for our coffee, let me also share with you what's great about this brewing equipment. Actually, it's very flexible because anyone can alter, modify, or respond to any circumstance or conditions that may occur. You see, the grind, proportion, rate of pour, or even the water temperature can be well controlled, resulting to a specific body, acidity, and flavors that you would like to have. And of course, lastly, as baristas, this brewing equipment actually gives us the privilege to have total control over the brewing process. I believe our cup of coffee is ready. Sorry, my hands are shaking. Now, judges, before you start tasting, I just would like to ask you a favor. And for now, just set aside first all of your impressions or ideas of the espresso roast that you're used to have. Because this one will be quite different. And that's because of two factors. First, because of my personalized technique, and second, because of this brewing equipment. Now, judges, please turn your flip charts to the last page. There's one for you, Justin, and for Major. Now, judges, you may pick up your glasses and swirl it as much as you want, and you may savor its spicy and roasty sweet aroma. A kind of aroma which is quite similar to a cooked caramelized sugar in front of you. Next, I would like you to experience espresso roast by slurping it twice. On your first slurp, you will really notice a low body and a light acidity than what we normally have because of this brewing equipment that naturally produces a brighter and cleaner cup of coffee. You may have your first slurp. Next, on your second slurp, what you will have are flavors of a mild smoky hints of cocoa notes, similar to this dark chocolate in front of you. And what's amazing is it will stay longer on your tongue and you will experience that specific flavor as you breathe in. And also a delicate sweet finish, which is quite similar to a cooked brown sugar. Now, judges, what you're having right now is the same high-quality beans of espresso roast. I just highlighted more of its cocoa notes and sweetness. You see, judges, Starbucks Espresso Roast just needs that someone who can let everyone know that can also be a great cup of coffee, even when brewed using a paper filter or this brewing equipment. Now, please, let me excuse myself and I will now prepare for you lattes with a latte art finish. Now, judges, you will experience espresso roast as a shot of espresso that will balance perfectly with steamed milk. Now, judges, let me just share with you. When I was practicing my latte art skills in preparation for this competition, I recalled my mentor's story on how latte art started in Starbucks Philippines. It happened sometime in the mid-year of 2013. And you know what? Partners were ecstatic then when they are able to create a very simple dot on top of a ristretto bianco. On March 1, 2014, Starbucks Philippines decided to elevate the art, and all lattes were served with a heart. And it's amazing how partners greatly improved, and now we can even create a rosette latte art finish. I'll just prepare my second latte. On July 21st, 2014, I joined Starbucks Philippines. That same year, I learned how to create my very first latte heart. And you know, judges, it was such a thrilling experience. And I knew then that I needed lots of practice to learn and master the art. And so, judges, what I did was I just practiced. So through various practices and lots of hard work, I can now even create a four-layered tulip latte art finish. Please enjoy those lattes as I have prepared it with double shots of a rich and caramelly espresso roast and a velvety smooth steamed milk. And I will now prepare my final beverage. Please excuse me. Sorry, can I just put this here? Do you need the picture? Now for my final drink, let me introduce to you a beverage that I would like to call Espresso's Earthquake of Flavors. And judges, again, our espresso roast inspired this beverage that you will have. But for the first component of this drink, let me excuse myself one last time as I will now pull shots of espresso that I will be highlighting all throughout this coffee experience. Please excuse me. You know, judges, this is my favorite part because even in the stores, it always amazes me whenever I see the three parts of espresso shot slowly being formed. You know, even the aroma of espresso roast or a shot of espresso, it gives me excitement and cravings to have my very first cup of coffee every day. Or even my second or third. You know, you just can't help yourself but have coffee whenever you smell the aroma of espresso roast.
5 minutes.
Next, let me add one piece of this coffee ice ball. Now this is a double strength of espresso roast that I prepared using the cold brew technique. And it's composed of a 1:6 coffee to water ratio, which is 250 grams of espresso roast ground coarser. And then I poured in it 1.5 liters of filtered water. And then I allowed time to extract its flavors for 20 hours, just to tone down its acidity and focus more on highlighting its flavor characteristics. Then I filtered it 3 times for clarity and froze it as it will serve as the ice for this beverage. Now judges, along the experience, what's great about this is the coffee ice ball, you will experience the magnitude of flavors of espresso roast as the coffee starts to melt. Sorry, the ice ball starts to melt. Now judges, I really would like you to experience every component of this beverage, so please do follow my instructions carefully. Judges, you may pick up the glasses and swirl it as much as you want, but do not drink from it yet because I just would like first to intensify the flavors of espresso roast. Next, let me add 8 milliliters of this liquid muscovado. Now this is for added sweetness. And I prepared this using 500 grams of organic muscovado sugar, and I diluted with it 100 grams of hot water. Now, judges, again, please pick up your glasses, swirl it as much as you want to incorporate well the muscovado sugar, and you may have one sip on the clear side of the rim. Please brace yourselves, for this is really strong. Now judges, along the experience, you will really notice that the muscovado syrup really highlighted its caramel flavors of the espresso roast. Next, let me add 20 milliliters of this half-and-half milk. Now this is 1 part full cream and 3 parts full milk. And this is also for added creaminess and texture for the beverage. Now along the experience, the half-and-half milk will truly complement or balance perfectly with this beverage since the coffee ice ball by now is already starting to melt. Now judges, kindly pick up your glasses and swirl it as much as you want to incorporate well the half-and-half, and you may have one sip again on the clear side of the rim. Now you will experience here that the half-and-half will truly highlight the richness and full-bodied characteristics of espresso roast. And lastly, judges, please turn your glasses to the coated side of the rim where the garnish I made is placed. And you may have also one sip. Now I prepared that garnish by putting dark chocolate, 100% unsweetened dark chocolate from Davao City, Philippines. And then I topped with it almond pralines and prepared those pralines by roasting raw and ground almond nuts with butter. And then I mixed with it melted brown sugar. Then I let it cool for about 30 to 45 minutes, and then I crushed it to make this finished beverage or coating as that you just experienced. Now judges, you will also notice that the garnish will truly complement with this beverage as a whole, highlighting both the rich and caramel flavors of espresso roast. Now judges, this beverage will prove that what seems to be an ordinary coffee, or sometimes too tough for others, is actually very special in its own way. Using the simplest ingredients, I was able to highlight the flavors of espresso roast. And now what you have is a built beverage that actually represents the same aroma and flavors of the very heart of this drink, which is none other than the espresso shot itself. Judges, all throughout this coffee experience, I was able to highlight Starbucks Espresso Roast and the remarkable flavors that it has to offer. And you know, I'm just really grateful to have this coffee because I was able to get out of the box, challenge my skills and expertise in a way that I could never have imagined. Judges, on behalf of all baristas in Starbucks who post thousands of shots of espresso every day, I am very grateful for this wonderful experience, allowing us to showcase our passion and expertise. Now, you may continue to enjoy the rest of the beverage. Thank you very much. Time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.